There is remarkable stuff happening in the 49ers building this offseason. Between George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and coming soon, Fred Warner, the 49ers are in the midst of their offseason of good faith. And this is very, very different from what we've seen in previous off seasons for the 49ers, which saw tremendously hardball negotiations, knockdown, drag-it-out fights that lasted until late August, and in Nick Bosa's case, early September. Well, this time, the 49ers are able to get on contractual business early, and it takes two to tango. And in all these situations, both sides have come ready to play ball. But let's remember what Brock Purdy said at the start of this offseason.
I want to obviously get it done. If that's an opportunity to be able to get that done quick, that'd be great. Just so we can get back for phase one, get after it with the receivers and our team, and just continue to grow, because man, we all got to grow together. For me, at the end of the day, I want to win. I want to win for this organization and everybody here. And I'm not the kind of guy that wants to have any kind of drama associated with anything. I'm here for this organization, for my teammates in the locker room, and I want to be very professional about it. We play professional football for our living, and I want to keep the main thing and not get distracted by all the chaos that can go on within it. But I want to just be clean about it and respectable, and get something done and get back to work.
That was way back on January 6th. So you can tell Brock Purdy was ready to play ball then. He didn't want drama. He wanted to help his team. Now, there are Tom Brady comparisons in this situation. Tom Brady was obviously willing to make things amenable for the team so that the team could flourish around him. And I think from a financial perspective, the salary cap is rising year to year. The 49ers are surfing the wave of this rising salary cap very effectively. And I think that there would be enough money, even if they paid Brock Purdy a little bit more, to make this sustainable, because the NFL is just exploding in revenues right now. But it was the timing of this that was so important for the 49ers to get right. You didn't want something to drag out the way that it drug out with Brandon Ayuk and with Nick Bosa. Coming off the 6-11 season, the 49ers needed to have this offseason to focus and prepare. And that's what Brock Purdy was alluding to in his quote in January. And that quote, just think about how remarkably well it aged. Brock Purdy is now under contract with over 2 months to go before the start of training camp. And technically he's not under contract yet. I should amend that. I should say that this is Brock Purdy week. This is the week during which the contract is going to be signed. We're going to get a little slow burn release of information as this week progresses. I broke the news yesterday of the no trade clause, which is another great sign of the 49ers' faith in Brock Purdy and the good faith nature of this entire process. We're going to learn about the structure. I've already also broken the news of the $8.5 million salary cap hit from 2025, which does show that Brock Purdy came willing to play ball with the 49ers in terms of the structure of this contract to make it happen. But along the lines of these contracts, why don't we go back and listen to another old quote? This one from Fred Warner. This one was a little bit more recent, but it happened last month. And to me, it was one of the more remarkable quotes I've ever heard from a player in the midst of a contract negotiation.
I get paid plenty already. But listen, that whole part of it, I know they, on my agent and the team and all that, that'll all handle itself out.
That's right. Fred Warner literally said, they already pay me enough. How about that? Fred Warner talking about the 49ers already paying him enough, even though he's in the midst of a contract negotiation. That might be the first time that I've heard that said by an A-list player. And up on the San Francisco Standard, that was one of the quotes I featured in my article. That means that Fred Warner is playing good faith ball with the 49ers. And the 49ers will play good faith ball right back with Fred Warner, because it will benefit them to get this contract done. He's number 2 in terms of pay average per year at the linebacker position. 49ers, just like they did with George Kittle, will be happy to make Fred Warner number 1. Both he and Kittle are future Hall of Famers, because they can actually improve their short-term salary cap situation. The 49ers are in the business of saving salary cap space now because it's more valuable now than it is in the future with the limit rising year over year. So Warner's got a $29 million salary cap hit in 2025, $27 million in 2026. So even though he still has 2 years left on his original deal, the 49ers can lower both of those salary cap hits for 2025 and 2026, create more carryover room, and basically continue surfing the wave of the rising salary cap. And they did that with George Kittle. They awarded him the #1 spot. He passed Trey McBride with a contract worth $19.1 million per year, but he also was able to save the 49ers 2025 salary cap space. While doing that, they're going to be able to do that with Fred Warner. So both of these situations win-wins for the 49ers, and that's why it's such a lock that this Fred Warner deal gets done soon. Now, while it's Brock Purdy contract week and Fred Warner potential contract week and George Kittle contract month, we can call this the offseason of good faith. We can call this the offseason of work, the offseason of perfect attendance for the 49ers. Definitely the vibes are right, especially compared to last year when it seemed that everything was either going wrong or taking too long for the 49ers. But just as a scheduling setup for you, San Francisco is going to be starting OTAs next week. And we talked about that. You know, I went back and I watched some of my old videos just to make sure that stuff was aging well on this channel, to see if we had covered things properly. And I'm happy to say that we did. We talked about OTAs as being a soft deadline for Brock Purdy. We also talked about John Lynch being a key player in the communication system of how all this was going to work, and boy, has he been a key player. He's made sure that everybody's on the same page. He's been that presidential figure leading the 49ers into this really practical, pragmatic spot where they're getting these deals done and where the players obviously are primed to want to sign these deals because they feel that the leadership is pulling the team in the right direction and they want to be around and part of the build that the 49ers are going to execute over this offseason. But OTAs themselves will start next week, a week later than usual for the 49ers, and they're going to be out there and they're going to be doing their very best with, I think, perfect attendance or near perfect attendance to lock this in for a 2025 season that is obviously going to present a major opportunity for the 49ers. That's where the schedule ties in for San Francisco. It seems like a year ago where we covered the schedule release because a lot has happened since last Wednesday. But the 49ers have what is considered the easiest schedule by strength of schedule that's dependent on last year's winning percentages in the NFL. They finished last place in 2024. That means a couple things. That means that the 49ers have a lot of rest because they didn't have to go to the playoffs this past season, and they get to play that last place schedule, which should set up nicely for a team that is obviously so dialed in over the course of this offseason. I'm at Tunnel Tops Park here in the Presidio. We could pan this around. We can see the Golden Gate Bridge. This is one of those beautiful new parks that has been constructed here in San Francisco. And on a perfect day like today, the Presidio is a former Spanish military base. It was like a Spanish fort, and then it turned into a U.S. military base. You could still see some of that architecture. If you pan around this way, you could see back to downtown San Francisco and the Palace of Fine Arts. But I think that the money shot, the view that everybody ultimately wants to see, is the one that we will finish the show on. The Golden Gate Bridge, sparkling today under the sunshine in San Francisco. The sunshine here is reflective of the mood in the 49ers building. These guys are locked, loaded, and it looks like they're getting ready to go for 2025. It is the off-season of good faith for the 49ers. And a look at Alcatraz, which I am swimming next week. Really excited to do it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, we got a surprise tonight. Just wait till you see the seats at the Giants game.